So you've built this amazing app, but how do you actually get it from your laptop out into the world? Well, today we're going to dive into Microsoft Azure's Compute Services. This is the engine that lets you build powerful, resilient apps in the cloud right from the ground up. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's just start with the big question. You've got this brilliant application, but what do you actually need to make it run? You know, it's not just about the code. You need processing power, you need memory, and you need a digital home for the whole thing to live in.
And that brings us to the very beginning, the foundation. Before we can talk about all the fancy, cool stuff, we have to understand the single most fundamental piece of the puzzle that provides that core power. And here it is. Meet the Azure Virtual Machine, or VM for short. The best way to think about it is exactly like this. You are literally renting your very own server. It can run Windows or Linux, and it lives inside one of Azure's huge secure data centers. This VM, this is your digital workhorse. It's the engine that's going to run your application.
Okay, but here's the thing about renting a server, even a virtual one. It comes with a classic problem, right? What happens when the physical hardware it's running on, well, has a really bad day? Let's look at how Azure helps you plan for exactly that. Look, it's just a fact of life in computing. Physical servers can and do fail. A power supply can blow, a network card can just give up. And if your entire app is sitting on that one piece of hardware, your app goes down with it. So how do we protect against this?
This is where Azure gives you this awesome two-tiered safety net. And honestly, understanding the difference here is one of the most important things for guaranteeing your app stays up. On the left, you've got availability sets. Think of these as protecting you from failures inside a single building. It's like taking your VMs and spreading them out across different server racks with different power sources, so if one rack fails, no big deal, your app keeps running on the others. Now, on the right, availability zones, whoa, this is the next level. This protects you if an entire data center goes offline. We're talking a power outage, a flood, you name it. It does this by putting copies of your VMs in totally separate physical buildings in the same region. So the key takeaway is this. Sets are for local hardware failures, while zones are for those big, catastrophic data center level disasters.
Okay, so now your app is safe from failure. Let's talk about a much better problem to have. What happens when your app gets super popular? How in the world do you handle all that new traffic?
I mean, it's the dream scenario, right? You launch, and boom, it just goes viral. Everyone wants to use your app. But if you've only got one or two VMs, they're going to get overwhelmed really fast, and your app will crash. You need a way to grow with that demand, like instantly.
And this is where virtual machine scale sets come in to save the day. It's an incredible feature that acts like a smart thermostat for your app's capacity. So first, it's constantly watching the demand. It sees how busy your VMs are. If traffic suddenly spikes, boom, it automatically adds new identical VMs to help share the load. And here's the other crucial part. When things quiet down later, it automatically removes those extra VMs so you're not paying for power you don't need. It is elasticity built right in. Now, virtual machines are fantastic. They're like the all-purpose foundation for everything. But you know, sometimes you need a more specialized tool for the job. And Azure gets that one size definitely doesn't fit all, so let's look at a few other options. This table breaks it down perfectly by how much control you actually need. So think of it this way. A virtual machine is like renting an entire house. You get the keys, you have total control over everything, from the operating system to the networking. It's perfect when you need that maximum level of control. In the middle, you've got Azure App Service. This is more like renting a fully managed apartment. You get your own space to host your web app, but the building manager, that's Azure, handles all the maintenance and server updates for you. And for modern apps, you have containers. These are like standardized shipping boxes. You just package your code and everything it needs inside this box, and it can be moved and run pretty much anywhere. The key here is just picking the right tool to be as efficient as possible.
Wow, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from the basic building blocks to automatic scaling and all these specialized services. So let's just do a super quick recap of the most important points. So remember these 4 things. 1. Everything starts with a virtual machine. It's the foundation. 2. Azure has your back with these powerful built-in safety nets like availability sets and zones to keep your app running no matter what. 3. Getting popular doesn't have to be scary because scaling can be completely automatic. And 4, there are always specialized tools out there that can make your life even easier.
And that really just brings us to our final thought. When you don't have to worry anymore about physical servers or data center failures or what to do when there's a sudden rush of users, when the cloud manages all of that complexity for you, it frees you up. It frees you up to focus on the one thing that truly matters, your idea.
So the real question is, what will you be free to create?
If you enjoyed this complete Azure training series, please like the video and share the video with others. And subscribe to the channel for more cloud and IT courses. And leave a comment with your feedback or future course suggestions.